Hello everyone, how are you? And welcome back to Marnie's Crochet channel. Today I will show you how to crochet out this beautiful bag with long handle, unique stitch and a wider base. This bag is also designed with smooth and beautiful finish, completed with drawstrings made of the Romanian cord. Well everyone, now let's get started. To make this bag, I'll be using polyester yarns and 2.25mm crochet hook. Firstly, make slip knot and make 56 basic chains plus 1 turning chains. This pattern is the multiple of 4, which is mean that if you wanna make it longer, you just need to add 4 chains. 56 chains are ready now. Now I will make the turning chain. So the total chains are 57, but the turning chain is not counted as a chain. Well, now I'm gonna make 1 single crochet in each of the chain stitch. This means that the total single crochet in this part is 56. You need to count it carefully to avoid mistake. Keep going and keep making 1 single crochet in each of the chain stitch to complete this part. Make 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet and 1 single crochet. This is what the first row looks like. Then make 1 turning chain, then the work and make 1 single crochet in each of the stitches. This is the second row. I make totally 27 rows to have 28 side stitches. Keep making 1 single crochet in each of the stitches. This is the 27th or the last row. 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet and 1 last single crochet. This is the last single crochet for this base. Stop here. Well, the wider base is ready now. This is what it looks like. What you're gonna do next is to make 1 single crochet all the way around and make 2 single crochet in each of these 4 stitches. Let me show you. Make 2 single crochet in this stitch, 2 single crochet in this stitch, 2 single crochet in this stitch, and 2 single crochet in this last stitch. To make it easy for you, I'd like to suggest you to put stitch marker here, so you will easily know the last stitch where you will make 2 single crochet. Now I'll start to make 1 single crochet in each of the stitch. One single crochet, 1 single crochet in the next 1 stitch, 1 single crochet again. You need to do this part carefully. Be sure that you don't make 2 single crochet in the same stitch. Okay, you need to count it carefully. I'm arriving at the ends of this part. This is the stitch where I'm gonna make 2 single crochet, 1 and 2. I move to this part now. Just like before, I continue to make 1 single crochet in each of the stitches here, 1 single crochet, and just like before, I'd like to advise you to do this carefully and be sure that you are not making 2 single crochet in 1 stitch. This is the last stitch of this part. I'm gonna make 2 single crochet. I continue to make 1 single crochet in each of the stitches here, just like what I did before. And 2 single crochet in this stitch. After that, I will make 1 single crochet in each of the following stitches to complete this part. It's almost complete now. These are 2 last stitches, and this one is the last stitch. I will remove the stitch marker and I'll make 2 single crochet in this stitch, 1 and 2. It finally completes, but unfortunately these stitches are very visible. I think I'm gonna hide these stitches before I continue. Well, to hide these stitches, firstly I will put a stitch marker here, then I will make slip stitches all the way around across these visible stitches. I will start the first slip stitch at stitch number 2. Here it is. Okay, now grab the yarn. This is the separate but similar yarn. Okay, now start to make slip stitch in each of these visible stitches. This is what the slip stitches look like. Continue to make 1 slip stitch in each of these visible stitches until you arrive at the beginning point. This is the last slip stitch. So when you are here, you need to move your hook positions to the back side of this work, then grab the yarn and pull it through the last stitch. Like this. Then make 2 additional chains. After that, cut the yarn. Then go back to the last stitch you left to resume the work. Well, before I continue, I would like to show you what the slip stitches look like and how all the visible stitches are perfectly covered. Now have a look. It looks so beautiful and much better than before. I will resume the work now and make standing base. The standing base is made of 10 rows of single crochet. Make 1 single crochet in this first stitch, 1 single crochet in the next 1 stitch, but don't forget to put stitch marker at the first stitch, because by putting stitch marker it will be easy for you to remember the beginning point. Continue to make 1 single crochet in each of the stitches as much as 10 rows. Make it carefully and be sure that you only make 1 single crochet in each of the stitches. This is the last row. This is the beginning point. I'll remove the stitch marker to make the main pattern. But before I make the main pattern, I'd like to show you what the standing base look like. This is the standing base. Have a look. This standing base is made of 10 rows of single crochet. I will count it for you. Okay, let's start to count this. I will count it from the first rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You can make higher or shorter than this, it depends on you. Now it's time to make the main pattern for this bag. This main pattern is made of 2 single crochet cluster. These 2 single crochet clusters is made at the second stitch from this stitch. This stitch is called the starting point. This is the second stitch from the starting point, and another single crochet is made in the second stitch under the starting point. This is the starting point, this is the second stitch before that, and this is the second stitch under the starting point. So the main pattern is made on these 2 stitches. Okay, firstly make first single crochet in the second stitch from the starting point. This is the single crochet cluster. Then go to the second stitch under the starting point. This is the second single crochet cluster. Then yarning over, pull it through these 3 loops. Okay, the first pattern is done. This is what it looks like. To make the second pattern, firstly make 1 single crochet in each of these next 3 stitches. This is first single crochet, this one the second single crochet, and this one the third single crochet. The next stitch is the 4th stitch, or the starting point for the next pattern. It's like before. The second pattern is also made of 2 single crochet clusters. The first single crochet is made in the second stitch from the starting point. This is the starting point, and the second single crochet is made in the second stitch under the starting point. Maybe a bit confusing to determine which one is the second single crochet, the second stitch under the starting point. Maybe it's tough for you to determine. So to make it easy for you, you just count the distance between the first and the second pattern, the distance between the second stitch under the starting point of the previous patterns with this second one is 4 stitches. Okay, this is the second stitch under the starting point where you're gonna make the second single crochet cluster. Okay, now let's start. Insert the hook into the second stitch from the starting points to make first single crochet cluster, then go to the second stitch under the starting point to make another single crochet, then yarn over, pull it through 3 loops to complete the pattern. Have a look at the distance between the second stitch under the starting point from the first and the second pattern of 4 stitches. You can count them. 4 stitches. Okay, you just need to do the same pattern to make the third one. Firstly, make 1 single crochet on each of next 3 stitches. This is a 2, and this one the third, or 3 single crochet just like before. Make single crochet cluster, the first single crochet mat and the second stitch from the starting point. This is the starting point, and the second single crochet mat in the second stitch under the starting point. Okay, yarning over, pull it through these 3 loops to complete the patterns. You just need to repeat the patterns to complete this part. This is the last pattern, just like before. After you make the last patterns, make 1 single crochet in each of 3 stitches. Okay, they are done now. This is the second row. The pattern is exactly the same with the previous one. This pattern is made of single crochet together, the first single crochet mat in the second stitch from the starting point. This is the starting point. This is the starting point. It is exactly on the top of the previous pattern, and this is the second stitch under the starting point. Okay, firstly make the first single crochet cluster on the second stitch before the starting point. Now make another single crochet on the second stitch under the starting point. The next one is to make 1 single crochet in each of next 3 stitches. This is first single crochet, second single crochet, and the third single crochet. The fourth stitch is the starting point. I mean the starting point for the next pattern. Just like before, the next pattern is made of single crochet cluster, the first single crochet mat and the second stitch from the starting point, and the second single crochet mat and the second stitch under the starting point. Okay, let's do it. Okay, now insert the hook into the second stitch from the starting point, then insert the hook into the second stitch under the starting point. Okay, yarn over, pull it through these 3 loops. Then make 1 single crochet in each of next 3 stitches. This is first single crochet, this one is the second single crochet, and this one is the third single crochet. Okay, then make single crochet cluster. The first one is mat in the second stitch from the starting point, and the second one is mat in the second stitch under the starting point. This one is the third row. The pattern is same. After you make the main patterns, make 3 single crochet in each of next 3 stitches. The first stitch is the starting point for the next pattern. Okay, this mat 3 single crochet in each of next 3 stitches. I'll put a stitch marker on the first single crochet. Then I will repeat the main pattern. I'll make single crochet cluster, the first single crochet is mat in the second stitch from the starting point, the second one is mat under the starting point exactly, and a similar stitch of the previous pattern. Okay, insert the hook and the second stitch from the starting point to make first single crochet cluster, and the second one, insert the hook into the similar stitch you made a previous pattern to make a second single crochet cluster. Then continue to make 3 single crochet or 3 normal single crochet, which is 1 single crochet in each of next 3 stitches. Then make main pattern, single crochet cluster, first single crochet, second single crochet, then complete the pattern. Then continue to make 3 normal single crochet, which is 1 single crochet in each of next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Then back to the main pattern. Repeat this pattern over and over again until you get the height you desire. I've just made 40 rows of main pattern. This is the second last. Then I will make the last 3 normal single crochet knit of next 3 stitches, 2 and 3. I will remove the stitch marker to make one last main pattern. It's ready now. The main patterns are completely done. Now I'll make one single crochet in each of the stitches all the way around as much as 10 rows. I'll put a stitch marker at the starting point or at the first single crochet. Now I will continue to make one single crochet in each of next stitches. I mean, I'll make one single crochet in every stitch. Ten rows of single crochet are done now. I will remove the stitch marker and put it at the beginning point. You can count the amounts of a single crochet rows like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. At the 11th row, I'll make some holes for drawstring rope. But before that, I will determine the distance between each holes. I make like this to find or to determine the right and the left stitch. This is the very first right stitch. I'll put one stitch marker on it and have already put a stitch marker on the first left stitch. Then I will put a stitch marker on the stitch where I will make the second hole. This is the stitch where I will start making the second hole. I will put a stitch marker on it first, then I will put a stitch marker where I will make the first hole. The distance between the stitch with the first hole are 7 stitches, and the distance between the first stitch, the first right stitch, with the second marker for the second hole are 16 stitches. Okay, now I will remove the stitch I put at the right and the left side of this bag. Now make one single crochet in each of next stitches. Remove the stitch marker, then skip these 2 stitches, make chain 2, don't forget to skip these 2 stitches and make one single crochet in the third stitch. Okay, the first hole is done. Then make one single crochet in each of next stitches until you arrive at the second stitch marker. When you are here, remove the stitch marker, make chain 2, skip these 2 stitches and make 1 single crochet in the 3rd stitch. Then fill each of the next stitches with 1 single crochet until you arrive at the 3rd stitch marker. The ending point is at the 2nd stitch from the stitch marker. This one is different from the 2 previous one. When you arrive at the 2nd stitch from the stitch marker, you need to stop here and remove the stitch marker, then chain 2, 1, 2, and skip these 2 stitches to make 1 single crochet. This single crochet is after the stitch marker. Then at the 4th stitch marker, it's same with the 3rd one. Stop at the 2nd stitch from the stitch marker, then chain 2 and make 1 single crochet after the stitch marker. This is the 4th stitch marker. Then the 5th one, you need to stop at the 1st single crochet before the stitch marker. This is the 1st single crochet before the stitch marker. Remove the stitch marker, then chain 2, 1, 2, skip 2 stitches and make 1 single crochet in the 3rd stitch. At the 6th stitch marker, you need to stop at the 2nd stitch from the marker, then chain 2, skip 2 stitches and make 1 single crochet in the 3rd stitch. At 7th stitch marker, you need to stop at 1st stitch before the stitch marker, then chain 2, skip 2 stitches and make 1 single crochet in the 3rd stitch. It's same with the 8th stitch, but before the 8th stitch, you need to fill each of the stitches with 1 single crochet. This is the 8th or the last stitch. Stop at 1st stitch before the stitch marker, remove the stitch marker, then chain 2, 1, 2, then skip 2 stitches and make 1 single crochet in the 3rd stitch. Actually, it's very easy. Okay, now it's done. Have a look. This is the whole of just mat. I will put a drawstring drop here. After making some holes for drawstring ropes, I will make 1 single crochet in each of the remaining stitches, and I will make this single crochet as much as 4 rows. But before that, I will put a stitch marker at the starting point. The starting point is exactly here. Then I continue to make 1 single crochet in each of the remaining stitches. 4 rows of single crochet are ready now. You can count them like this. Then I will put a D-rings on the left and the right side of this bag. But before that, I will determine a right position for the D-ring. I make like this. Don't forget to put a stitch marker on the right stitch for the D-rings and on the left stitch for the D-ring, like this. The position of these 2 stitch markers are on the 3rd stitch of the D-ring. I will attach the D-rings using 5 stitches. I will make one single crochet first because the position of this single crochet is on the 3rd stitch from the stitch marker. Meanwhile, the D-ring is matched on the 2nd stitch from the stitch marker. Now I will make 5 single crochet inside the D-ring. It's quite challenging for the beginners. 1, 2, 3, hold it carefully, 3, 4, and 5. You can adjust the positions before you continue. And this is the last one, 5. Then continue to make one single crochet outside the D-ring. I change my crochet hook. One single crochet outside the D-ring and continue to make one single crochet all the way around. I will make 3 rows of single crochet. The 3 rows of single crochet are ready now. You can count them. 1, 2, 3. Then I will make slip stitch as the final touch. This slip stitch is made all the way around an edge of the single crochet stitches. It's done. I will make 2 additional chains before I cut the yarn. 1, 2, then cut the yarn. Then I will put a drawstring rope. This drawstring rope is made of the Romanian cords. You can watch the tutorials on how to make this Romanian cords on my previous video. Finally, for the handle, the tutorial on how to make this handle is available on my previous video. You can watch it. Now this beautiful drawstring bag is ready. I hope you like this pattern. Well everybody, thank you so much for watching my video. Remember God, pray in time. Happy crochet and see you again.